I'm going to be quoting from Who is Esau Edom on page 50 and 51. This is going to be about Talmud antagonistics, or whatever that means. Um, but Talmud would be Christianity. The Jews, that's the title of the video, the Jews versus the Christian. I'm quoting from Who is Esau Edom, written by Charles A. Wiseman. Yeah, because we all know who Esau is. Um, that's the biblical name for the so-called white man. The Jews versus the Christian. Now you have to understand, Christian just simply means to be Christ-like, but Christianity is falls up under Talmud. Talmud, all of that is a creation of Christianity is false. Christianity is um, it's a cult. The evidence of God ordained conflict and struggling between Esau and Jacob can be followed down through history to the present times. World conflicts, wars, persecutions, and social struggles are a result of two different systems generated by two different peoples, nations, descendants from Esau and Jacob. There's always been uh, a conflict before these twins were born. It was always some kind of conflict. You can find that in Genesis 25, the whole chapter. Before Esau was born, God, before Esau and Jacob was born, they were already at odds with each other. And when they was fighting in the womb. And Rebecca was wondering why she had them pains. You know what I'm saying? She was wondering. So she had to go talk to God about the situation. Why there are differences amongst any two races of nations, amongst no other two, has such an antagonistic and conflicting relationship between exists as between the Jews and white Christian people. Throughout history, these two peoples have been at odds with one another. Their matter of law, government, religion, and theologies are dramatically opposite to one another. It is an ancient conflict between ancient adversaries of Esau, talking about the white race, Jews, and Jacob, white Christians. The connection between white race and Christianity and the Jews with Judaism is universal to recognize. Judaism are the religion of Jews as expressed in their Talmud is contrary to the precepts of the Christians. Bible, what is contrary to the precepts of the Christian Bible? What the Bible approves of Talmud disapproves of what the Bible prohibits in the The Talmud allows in some form. The tables on the following page bears witness to this. Hundreds of such constructed illustrations could easily be presented to further prove that Judaism and Jewish is not the real Jews, those are the Ashkenazis. Talmud are opposite and antagonistic to the Bible and Christianity, just as Esau and Jacob. This exposes the false notions that Christianity was derived from Judaism and nullifies the term Judeo-Christian. The Talmud teaches the opposite laws and principles from that of the Bible. That's right, because during the time of Babylon, Talmud was the one of the Babylonian worshiping that people worship during that time. Let's get the Bible. Let's go to Ezekiel 8. Yeah. Ezekiel 7, 8, Ezekiel 8. It says, I don't know if this is it or not. Here we go. This is Ezekiel talking. Ezekiel chapter 8 and verse 13. And he said unto me, turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abomination that they do. See, God was showing Ezekiel the mindset of Israel, and God was revealing these things to Ezekiel in a vision about how our people worshiping the culture of Babylon instead of doing the commandments of God. Verse 14, then he brought me to the door. He's telling the vision of the gate of the Lord's house, which was toward the north. And behold, there sat women weeping for Tammuz, because he had died, because spring gave way to summer. And that was the god of vegetation or something like that. See, people worship different things. This was not the God of Israel that they was worshiping. Why were they weeping for Tammuz in the Bible? There sat women weeping for Tammuz. Where sat women weeping for Tammuz? Okay, Tammuz was a god worshipped. That's what I was just saying. Tammuz was a god worshipped by pagans during Ezekiel's day, usually by taking part with a wild mortality. It was said that the stone stakes of Tammuz weeping when that happened. The worshippers cried also because they were mourning. That means they was crying, mourning. They was mourning the death of this God, only to then rejoice when God came back to life. What God is very angry about in this passages is the fact that Jewish women were sitting at the very door of his house, worshiping this false idol, Tammuz, by weeping for it. Do you know people worship the white man? They worship America. They worship being in the military. And all these people stands for the 2/3. Yep. All these people stands for the 2/3. Then he said unto me, hast thou seen this, O son of man? God is saying, did you see what I just showed you? Turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abomination than these. He said, you're going to see something worse than that. That's what God is telling this man, Ezekiel. He said, you're going to see not only is they Uncle Tom's, you're going to see how they selling their damn people. Selling their people out. He brought me unto the inner court of the Lord's house, and behold, at the door of the temple of the Lord, between the porch and the altar, were about 25 men. That means 25 men with their backs toward the east. With their backs toward the temple of the Lord, and their faces toward the east, and they worshiped the sun toward the east. See, they was worshiping the sun before Christ pre-existed, before Christ came as a baby to redeem Israel. That was the whole purpose of him coming. You know? It says, and he brought me unto the inner court of the Lord's house. I mean, he's talking about the angel. And behold, at the door of the temple of the Lord, between the porch and the altar, were about 25 men. That means 25 men. That's what that means. With their backs toward the temple of the Lord, and their faces toward the east. And they worshiped the sun toward the east. That's what Sunday come in at. Then he said unto me, hast thou seen this, O son of man? It is a light thing to the house of Judah that they commit the abomination which they committed here, but they have filled the land with violence. This is talking about Israel, because we went off and started worshiping the other nations and started practicing the heathen customs of the white man and stuff. What the Bible even said, we're doing worse than the heathens, and have returned to provoke me to anger, being Uncle Tom's, all that type of stuff, because we notice that we do everything else the other nations do. But have you noticed we don't worship our own culture? We busy celebrating Thanksgiving, so-called Thanksgiving, and Christmas, birthdays, and all that shit. All that shit has nothing to do with the Black Messiah. Worshiping white Jesus. That's what we're doing. And lo, they put the branches to their nose. That's right. Put the branches to their nose. We bow down to it. We fully worships these things. Therefore, also I would deal in my fury. My eyes shall not spare. God said he ain't gonna spare your ass. Neither will I have pity. And though they cry in my ears, praying and crying and all that kind of, with a loud voice, yet will I not hear them. God said he ain't gonna be no damn hypocrite. God is not dealing with, he's telling you that he's not dealing with you in Christianity. He's not dealing with no Uncle Tom. God ain't dealing with them kind of people. God ain't dealing with you going in no damn military, no white man's military. God ain't dealing with that. His spirit ain't even dwelling in you. God ain't dealing with you. I don't care what you say. And then they try to manipulate it by saying, I believe all who accept Jesus, which is white Jesus, it's not about your lineage. It's about if you have faith in Jesus Christ and believe that he died on the cross for your sins, you can be saved. He's not going to save you by bloodline. He's going to save you by your faith in Jesus and all that kind of, that's some bullshit, scam shit that they want to sell you. I might have to go up in here. Hold on, I'll be back.